Hello, it's time for the Astro business forecast of July 2021. My name is Patricia Panassi and I am an astrologer and business mentor, and I help coaches and service providers to get into a place where they trust, where they know what they can do, and ultimately have more free time to do what they want. July, you guys, I'm not gonna lie, I am usually not somebody who warns people about the upcoming astrological weather. However, July is one to look at. It's going to be quite intense in a good way, because I truly believe that growth really happens when you can find the lessons, when you can find the I wouldn't say the upside of a challenging situation, but it helps you to put things in perspective. And sometimes we kind of need this little push to take us to that next level. So I'm gonna pull up my forecast and I'm just gonna double check if everything works correctly. Just making sure you can see and hear me okay. If you're here live, let me know that you're here, because I always love to see who's here with me live. And bonus, you can get to ask questions and go deeper. One thing that I want to start with before I dive into the forecast is I've been noticing, and actually this morning I had a voice message conversation with someone, that 2021 has felt like this ongoing intensification of the energies. It's almost like when I show up here to do these monthly forecasts, there's hardly ever a month where I say, whoo guys, easy breezy, like it's all smooth, and nothing really intense is happening. Well, like wait, because August is gonna be a bit more calm in that way. But which reminded me that if you get this overview of the whole month, it can kind of be a whole lot to take in. Because yes, the first 2 weeks of July are, and this week actually already, is quite intense. There's quite a lot of heavy energy. But the second part, then August, is a little bit more smooth. So if I kind of cut it up in chunks, so I give you a weekly forecast that will help you to see what the week is about, instead of getting the whole month ahead and thinking, wow, that's much. I'm not going to stop doing these monthly forecasts, because I still think it's good to have this broad overview. But what I'm going to do for the podcast is I am going to release a weekly forecast with what is going on during the week. Now, if you're listening, let me know what day you'd like me to release them. There is one coming out for this week. It'll be posted later today. I'll make sure I post the link. But let me know, would you like to receive these on a Friday for the week ahead? Do you want me to release it on a Sunday, or maybe Monday is good for you as well? Let me know, because I love to accommodate you in that and let you know when things are coming alive, when it's the most convenient for you. That being said, July, let's dive in. Because, well, especially this week is a lot about things coming together and finding closure. And finding closure is something that we can we want to, but we're kind of holding it off. So we have a new moon coming up in Cancer next week. The new moon. And now it's really a good opportunity for you. Every time when the moon slowly goes into, we actually have the last quarter moon on July 1st. So that's really a good time to actively start surrendering and letting things go. Because once we are moving towards the new moon, if we can clean the slate, if we can release things, if we can let things go, then when we set our intentions, it's more on, and with a clean slate, I don't mean like wipe everything off the table, but what are the things, like clean your table up. I'm actually looking at a table that's not that clean. So it's a good metaphor for me right now. Hi, Susan, good that you're here. Clean up the table. You don't have to take everything off. Leave the essentials. And then clean up the rest of the table. So when you go to sit down for your new moon ritual, you actually have a clear space with only things that you want there on that table, which is something that you can actually physically do. But this is more of the energetic and emotional table that I'm talking about right now. Make sure that you clean that, especially there's quite an intensity this week. And if your table's clean, then if it gets a mess, it is easier than to organize things back. But if it's already messy and then comes the chaos, then it's almost impossible to sift through everything and find a place for everything. I mean, I have that in my house all the time with 3 kids. If we assign certain locations to certain things will get cleaned up easier. But if we are a bit lazy and we don't do it for like 2 or 3 days, then it becomes a chaos and then it becomes overwhelming and harder. It's exactly the same with our emotional clutter, with our mental clutter. If we can sift through everything and focus on what do we want to keep and what are the things that can be tossed out. Now, the reason why I'm talking about the intensity of this month is because of Mars. Now, we just had Saturn and Uranus in a square. Susan said that the metaphors are working on so many levels. I actually felt it come into my body, so thinking, yeah, the table. I'm going to remind myself of that in the month ahead. So we had the Saturn-Uranus square. Because it's a slower aspect from slower moving planets, this aspect kind of lingers on for a while and it's still lingering, it's not gone. And now Mars is coming. Now, if you are a bit familiar with astrology, you know that Mars can be a very aggressive, direct energy. It is, in mythology, Mars is the god of war. So it kind of comes in and goes like, yes, I'm ready. Let's do this. So Mars is about action, is driven. It wants to do things. It wants to move things, shake things. Saturn is structure, discipline, focus, not too many outbursts. So Mars is opposing Saturn on July 1st. And it's kind of like going from 0 to 100 in 1 second. It's like that. It's that fire that's being lit up because Mars is in a fire sign. So that indicates that when Mars is in a fire sign, it gets really fiery and hot, and it can get aggressive and frustrated easily because Saturn doesn't want to move. So there is this kind of they rub against each other, especially because they're opposites, so they're really butting heads. Mars and Leo wants to shine, it wants to stage, it wants to do things, it's passionate, whereas Saturn in Aquarius is like being responsible, looking out for others. It's not about me, it's about the collective. So there's this kind of push and pull going on, and it is exact on July 1st, but this is something that we're already feeling, and it will also again linger on for a few days. So if you need to do certain tasks that day, if there are absolutely things that you cannot avoid, make sure that you feel that explosive energy come up in you when you kind of feel like I want to, this feels like it's not moving, but I want to move it. Move your body, go outside, run or punch a pillow, scream in a pillow, like do whatever you need to move, because Mars is also physical energy, and when that frustration, that anger, that aggression gets bottled up, well, no one gets healthier from that. So move your body. Make sure that you move the energy around. And the reason why I'm also spending a lot of time on this is because also the people around you are feeling this. This is not just you because you're aware of it, but everybody feels this frustration, this... the reason why I keep using the word frustration is actually frustration is a wrong label, because if we allow ourselves to get angry, if we allow ourselves to see the things for what they are, but mostly our emotions for what they are, then we can move through them. Then we can move our bodies. Then we can like shift the energies. This is all about shifting the energy, because if there are two cars driving ahead, like towards each other, if none of them is going to move, then it's going to be a collision. But if we can kind of move the physical energy, if we can move the Mars energy around, then the structured Saturn will go straight because it wants to go straight. But the Mars and Leo actually like move the energy and move that passion towards something that is beneficial to all parties instead of just for itself. So that is something to really keep in mind, because then on July 3rd, we have Mars in Leo squaring Uranus in Taurus. And remember, Uranus is the planet of surprises, the planet of radical transformation and shifts. And this is really interesting to start observing what is happening around you. A square is different than an opposition. When opposition, like I said, it's a kind of butting heads. A square is, it kind of needs to go somewhere. There is almost a forced energy. Where when opposition, you kind of have the opportunity to choose. A square, a lot of times the choices are made for you. So make sure that you won't take any radical decisions or change anything radically, because the Mars in Leo kind of tends to turn the attention towards itself. And you don't want to make decisions that are based, centered around yourself only. Now, I do believe that you need to put yourself first, for sure. Like, there's no doubt about that, to fill up your own cup. But at the same time, there's no need to hurt others, because you are just pushing through and you feel like this is the way, so this is the way it's going to happen. So be mindful of that, as well as how can you support the people around you? How can you help others to bring this energy to a new level? So this week is embracing your passions, understanding what you're passionate about, and this also ties into your mission. What is your mission? And at the same time, how can you direct that energy so it actually starts to shift things starts to move? If two cars butt heads and either there will be a collision or they just stop and can't go any further, then you're stuck. So it's not necessarily making radical decisions and kind of like, this is what I'm going to do, but allow yourself to use this energy to keep things going, like keep the momentum going, keep going forward. And even though it's maybe like a small step, you're still stepping forward, because otherwise the energy lingers even longer, because it has to go somewhere. Like, energy doesn't disappear. So if the energy stays like this, then the tension will stay. Something needs to move or shift. Then the week after that is very sensitive and mixed. Like I mentioned, we have a new moon in Cancer on July 9th in the US and on July 10th in Europe. So, like I said, I will do the weekly forecasts on the podcast. Now, I just want to take you to the week itself, which is a very emotional week, because we have Mercury squaring Neptune, we have Venus opposite Saturn, we have Venus squaring Uranus. So what Mars just did, Venus is going to repeat. So it's like kind of a repeat of the energy, but obviously because Venus is doing it, is much more softer. It is more related to your finances, to your love life, opposed to when Mars is doing is like, yes, let's do this. Let's just, almost like, I'm going to punch you in the face kind of energy. Where Venus is more to comfort you, but it's still like intense. And that is before the new moon. Yeah. So when we have the new moon, it is a moment to turn inwards, and not just inwards in your body, but also inwards in your home. Cancer is a homebody. It's like a home sign. And I actually wrote down, it's like self-care on steroids. It's very important after all the volatile energy that we had to really tend to your home, to tend to your inner child, to mother your inner child, as well as to wonder and to ask yourself, what is home for me? And not just your physical house, but what is home? Where do I feel at home? What do I need to feel at home? What do I desire? Those are very important questions to ask yourself around the new moon. And the next day we actually have Mercury entering Cancer. So we're really like enhancing this, the emotional side of us, nurturing our emotional side and our emotional state. Often we think that's a bad thing because we're not supposed to be super emotional, but this is something that you want to pay attention to. And a week after that, we slowly start to open up and receive. It's a much more gentle energy. It's like light. It starts to be a little bit more light. So I know the one that I had voice messages this morning with, we're getting better. We're having some better energy ahead of us. So we have the Mercury trining Jupiter, the Sun trining Neptune. We do have Chiron going in retrograde in Aries until December. So it's quite a long retrograde. But that will be very helpful for us to explore our relationship with our identity and how are we going to, how are you going to show up and fully embrace those parts of yourself. We do have Venus entering Virgo, so it stayed in Leo for only a little bit. On the 21st and 22nd, we have the Sun entering Leo. So this like peak of summer, Leo energy, it's frivolous, it's happy, it's excited, it's, I wrote an extravaganza. It's kind of this putting yourself out there. If you tend to be a bit more on the shy side, this is your time to shine, to really step up and, yeah, be like, wear glitter, as a Leo does. Just be happy and excited. So that's what's happening in the third week of July. So yeah, it's like excited and a new type of energy right before we have the full moon in Aquarius, which happens on July 23rd in the US and on July 24th in Europe. This is actually the first of two Aquarius new moons, which is always interesting. We always have either one new moon, a new moon in one sign, or full moon in one sign twice. Happens every year because we have, because the moon takes about 29.5 days to go around the zodiac. So obviously our days our months are 31 days long. So we always have two. So that's not unusual, it always happens, but this year we have two. Last year we had two Cancer new moons. This year we have two Aquarius full moons. And it is really good time to think about the group of people that you have around you and how do they maybe unconsciously keep you small, and what are your attachments to that, and really embrace that you might see the world through a different lens than they do, and that is fine. Like, we don't all have to agree, but really allow yourself to shine your unique light, which is all about Leo season. Embrace your uniqueness and shine that light. Let's see. Then in the last week, we have Mercury entering Leo. Jupiter retrogrades back into Aquarius. Mars in Leo opposite Jupiter, and we have Mars entering Virgo right a day later. I'm going too fast. That week is really all about letting go of subconscious patterns and stepping into the version that you want to be, because a lot of things that we do is based on automatic responses and patterns. That week will be really good to be aware of those reflexes and replace them with ones that actually serve you. Mercury going into Leo is your communication will get a boost in confidence. You can speak your truth. Be mindful that you don't just center it around yourself, because Leo likes all the spotlights on itself. Make sure they actually listen to what the other person is saying and don't speak all the time, which is important. We kind of like turn inwards again because Mars enters Virgo, which helps us. Like when Mars was in Leo, it was very like shouting and look at me, this is what I'm doing. When it goes into Virgo, it turns much more practical. So your actions get much more practical. It helps you to actually put your plans into action, but also how to really utilize your creative energy and how to structure things, which is very much in alignment with things that are happening more in September. But the end of July, you can already start to plant the seeds that will help you to utilize the Virgo energy in September to really get going, because August is in general, August is going to be with some twists and turns. Let's just say that we also, what's real beautiful next month is in August, is the new moon in Leo is at the same day as the Lion's Gate. So I think that's a really beautiful combination together. But we have to lay the foundation in this month. We have to, well, next month. We're still in June, but I'm already speaking about July. So allow yourself to lay down the foundations and use this energy to get to a point so you can ride those waves. And this is already going to be, this week is already on an intensity level, it's quite high. But like I said, clean the table up. Take the action is what Mars wants to do. It wants to take the action. So allow yourself to take the action, to do the things, and to help yourself to keep moving forward. For more detailed dates and information, you can go over to the podcast and listen to the weekly forecast, as well as if you are on my list, you automatically get a PDF file with all of these dates and more, with all of the information, how to use them, what parts in your business will be affected, and how you can use that in your benefit. I am planning the workshop to plan the rest of the year out with all of you, and you will actually get an overview of the next 6 months with this. I'm still in the process because I tried to set it up correctly, and that takes a little bit longer. So I will keep you updated on that. If you want more information about that workshop, leave a comment below, and I will add you to the list, and make sure you receive the information when the workshop is ready to, when you're ready to sign up. I wish you a beautiful month ahead. Yes, it might sound intense, but you've got this. You can get through this because you know what is coming and how to use the energy. Wishing you a beautiful day.